for public use. You've got the Edwardian extension to the infirmary there. You can just see the windows, the Georgian, mock Georgian, and you've got the classical 19th century infirmary with the you know, the section that's been added on the top, plus our magnificent Edwardian town hall, which was built on top of the hill to dominate the town. Stockport was a very religious place in the 19th century.
This is the Edwardian extension to the infirmary, so says Philip. It's illuminated at night panel. It's now turned into flats. It was the nursery home at one time. This is a view of the hatwork chimney, the Ward Hat Factory, and Christ Church, which had a clock in it at one time as big as Big Ben's.
Marking the site of Stockport Grammar School from about 1832 to 1916.
This is the waiting place here, but Philip's just mentioned the plaque about Stockport School. And how long
Grammar School,
Stockport Grammar School. 1832 to 1930 something.
The better. Although that bed there.
It's now called Mount Tabor, isn't it?
Was it? Why was it such a religious place? Was it different, like?
Well.
Oh, Millbrook House.
Millbrook House. This is.
Now,
it used to be a church.
Political this morning. I'd get Peter to get.
Here's the stockbrokers, which is closed down. Sign of the times.
That's the site of the original. There isn't there are several plaques over there, one of which might indicate when the original technical college was built.
Yes, it's now part of the technical college, but it was the site of the Royal Harrison building was the site of the old technical school. Small sales workshops halfway up this short hill. All small scale stuff was in the 1960s, so Philip says. Here's the Civic Crest on the side of the Rowan Hadlow building. This is the latest bit of the college, only a year or two old, and it's apparently coated in zinc, so Philip says.
What you're looking at is the rear of the church. This church was constructed just after the Napoleonic Wars, when the government were getting very worried about social order problems, and there was a special government fund set up to build more churches in areas where the population had been increasing and there weren't sufficient churches, or so it was thought, and this was one of them.
Here's the Masonic Hall. Philip thinks that in the first half of the 20th century the town was dominated by the Tory party, not surprising perhaps, and he felt that the Masons were pretty influential at that time. And they built this building. Yes, referring to Royal Oak Brewery Housing Association trying to restore it to flats, but run out of money.
The thing on the left is the telecommunications signalling on the West Coast Railroad.
Stockport County floodlights.
It just shows you the extent to which these breweries had money to invest. The facade here is very like the Buck and Dog down in the town centre, the entrance, and I suspect it was the same brewery. Go round the corner. It's one of the few examples of interwar building on Hillgate, because that's the period I think it dates from. I think it's a restaurant. And you've got an excellent view on your right of the spire of St George's as you come out of Hillgate. St George's was built 1887. It is as large as a cathedral. It's larger than Manchester Cathedral. Its own in-house.
This is Whitbread's brewery sign, apparently on Royal Oak Brewery. The brewery is not as old as 1742. Yeah, Philip has just told us about the chap who set up St George's Church. He had an argument with the church here, St Thomas's, and decided to set his own church. And in those days, 19th century, there was no death duties. What is death duty? Or estate
duty.
Yeah. Estate duty. And so people who were well off very often spent their money on things like that.
They thought that we could get goes back to 1868 and has got the Civic Crest on.
This is 1907. We've just got near enough to see it.
Yes, 1869.
Turn around, look.
Something we can put a sky on that gable end and I may take it down. This is Samuel Oldknow's house, 18th century. This is one of the oldest buildings in Stockport. The staircase house. It isn't quite. It was the site I was referring to where the Sergeant Stockport's old historic market.
Showing that we're right on the flight path where this plane crashed. It's the A380, I think this is. The biggest passenger plane in the world. Stockport Police Station, built in 1958.
We've got brick, we've got the 21st century, we've got the...
And the Tim Brook goes through there, which was used in the textile industries in the 19th century.
Coming back now through neglect, but it would have been well wooded on both sides.
It's the Hope's Car. It is a car is a wooded area, so Philip tells us. In the distance you can see the top of the parish church.
20s was the main source of power. This building is going to disappear when the substation across the road is moved here, when they do the redevelopment of Hope's Camp.
This was the Stockport Bedding Company who had a fire. Now hope that there will be a complete redevelopment of this area, but they ran out of HCA money some months ago.
Who had a manufacturing unit in Offerton as well as there.
Lavender Brow.
What until steam engines came along, and then as mills got bigger, this area declined relatively to other areas. But it did begin in 1732 as a silk manufacturing area. And there were some quite large silk mills in Stockport up until about 1780, when then there was a trade depression and people switched over to cotton.
This is the Enterprise mural built, put in the 1970s, I think. Which the way of Rutland Hillgate now.
That is very like the Swan with Two Necks. And it was outside here in 1851, I think 1852, that the anti-Catholic riots took place. Bishop Blaise was that's why the place was named after him. There is a heritage trail here. You can see one of the plaques. The council do have booklets. They don't have guided tours like this, but they do have booklets with little numbers on it. It'll tell you on the card that they give you what the history is. We've also got these new lamp columns in. Lloyd George has been
Central Liberal Club,
and you can see underneath
opened in the 1950s. Lloyd George was here before that.
What I've suggested, when they finish this, that they put a proper blue plaque on it commemorating it as a political club in Hillgate. There are enough people and manufacturing activity to require banks to be established in Stockport in the early 20th, 19th century. Trustee.
Robinson's Brewery, still brewing. Brewery was built in 1838, but there's been some fairly ghastly extensions put to it, like this bit here. A bit of the brewery.
They had to reinforce the wall.
There's a bit of Hillgate which has been done. Still on the old Hillgate route. Before 1826, this was the main road to Scotland. And here's the old Labour Exchange, just off Hillgate. Nice view up to the parish church.
That brick building on the right is unoccupied. It was a very large shop.
And what's that say? 1780 or 18?
Yeah,
something?
1780 that, yes.
This is Mealhouse Brow.
Before it was Jewellers, and there is the Heritage Trail plaque number 18. They've tried to run it as a wind out. You Wilkinson House building, and that is the passageway. If you go up through there, it will take you back up to High Street on the other side. That's the old TU club, basically. Then.
Here's the White Lion. That's how the chimney. There's a tree growing out of the chimney at the top. This is the Rhode Island Cafe. Been going a few years. Got a very interesting staircase at the back. And this is the end of Hillgate now. We're coming down to Chestergate. And here's a little bit of recent history. The Northern Rock Bank, which bust the queue, went all round the block when they crashed in 2008, was it? And a nice square, but Philip's calling for a bit of public art in the middle, and I think he's probably right about that. And then a little bit further along is what is now the NatWest Bank Underbank Hall, which is quite an old building. On Underbank here, all the building societies are congregated because apparently the town council wouldn't allow them to go into Mersey Way, where they wanted it to be mainly dress shops and things like that. And of course, up at the end of the road here is what was called Sunwind, which is now going to be turned into a Primark in the autumn of 2011.
It was always expensive relative to other places up until 1832. And it's interesting that we're kind of finishing here because we started by pointing out where the plaque was from 1832 to 1916. They had 3 sites, but here in 1935, you can't really envisage it now. It was one of the first slum clearance schemes that the Tories actually did in Stockport. There were some 18th century cottages on this side, near to where the site of the old grammar school was, and they were cleared away about 1935. Thames side, and
is it falling down now?
well, no, I don't know what the real state of it was, but they have rebuilt it all. And they've also rebuilt the walls in my ward on Brink Square and also on Newbridge Lane, and they've done a very high quality job. Because it was you couldn't really see the sandstone caves at the back. It was covered in vegetation, and they've just rebuilt it all. And the air raid shelter to us is well, it's a unique feature, really. I said.
There's St Peter's Church, which is on St Peter's Square. Very high church, almost Catholic in fact. Can be seen from Underbank here. And here's the origins of Mersey Way, built over the River Mersey, where the River Mersey starts. And Henry Walker was a Labour chairman of the Planning Committee or Development Committee.
That commercial area there. There's quite a lot of 19th century, when you look at it in total, commercial office development in Stockport Town Centre. Over the old Lewis's in Manchester.
We've taken over by Primark. Plaza Cinema, 1932. Run by a trust now.
Yeah, just next to the Mersey Cafe. Right under the pole.
Chestergate Club, rebuilt 1896. A nice crest on the top. This is Mersey Way, which originally was a road built over the river in 1934, and then the shopping centre was built in 1965-66, and we have film of the front of it being built. And of course this is roughly the beginning of the Mersey. The Mersey River begins at the confluences of the Goyt and the Etherow, not the Goyt and the Etherow, the Goyt and the Tame, which is about 400 yards to the east of here, at the other end of this shopping precinct. And there is the River Mersey, beyond the bear pit.
Originally some Alliance House.
Yes.
Losing. No, we should go and found King Food.
And also on the A6, Stockport Central Library, although...
You see where that code is? All that area there.